Hey, what's up, people? This is a, what would you call it? An intentionally unstructured rant. As I do these videos, you know, there's a few different kind of almost conflicting things, you know, interests that I might have. And, yep, there's my first slur, so let's go ahead and I'll do this. Yeah, I'm drinking right now. Here's conflicting interest number one. Like, I'm basically an alcoholic. Like, I like to drink a lot, and some people like my drunk videos and some people don't. So there's a conflict. But the main reason I bring this up is a different conflict, and that's the conflict I have internally with the label, the word atheist, and using scare quotes. That's another one. I know some people hate that, but because see, with the word atheist, like kind of the tightrope that I find myself trying to walk, that I have a hard time with, is it really gets the point across in a way, because, you know, I think the existence of Yahweh is about as likely as the existence of the flying spaghetti monster. I generally think the ills of organized religion outweigh the good, and all these other things, and you know, the word atheist gets that point across in 3 syllables, in a way that few other words or phrases can, and has forcefully. But at the same time, the conflict I have is it carries so much weight and extra baggage with it, to where it's you know, I don't want to just go blindly throwing it around. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you haven't seen it already, watch this video from Sam Harris from the 2007 Atheist Alliance International Convention. I will go so far as to say that this is the single most important video for any self-professed atheist, especially in the context of doing YouTube videos or anything even remotely approaching activism or, dare I say, evangelizing. Yeah, the single most important video for any of those people to watch. And for that reason, yeah, link, I've gone so far as to host it. So that's a balancing act, and just here's another example of why I think it is such a tightrope as opposed to a nice easy path to walk down. I got a channel comment from someone, and this embodies a lot of comments and interactions I've had that typically goes along with calling myself atheist. But this person says, and you can just check out my channel comments, but it tells me that, quote, "You're narrow-minded to think that there can't be anything else between following a religion and having no belief in anything spiritual or godly," unquote. And I so many times, it amazes me how often this happens. Like, my response is basically, when did I say that? I'm pretty sure I didn't say that. And that's the thing that this is part of why I think maybe it's a good and bad thing to apply the word atheist to myself, and you know, this affects how I want to temper my how willing I am to throw it around. But yeah, I never said that. Like, you know, I can provisionally, I can understand that people have experiences that and yeah, I really want to defer back to Sam Harris on these sort of things. Like, it's just, yeah, it goes back exactly to what he's talking about in that video. Like, I know that people can have quote unquote spiritual experiences, and I have had some of those, you know, like especially eating psilocybin mushrooms. Woo! That is the closest I've ever come to, like, talking to God or seeing God. Like, there's something about hallucinogens that make you, like, I simultaneously understood the fallibility of my senses and the interconnectedness of all things, and you know, for me, there's nothing about being an atheist that is mutually exclusive with these all-encompassing, word-defying feelings of awe at being a living, breathing, conscious part of this universe. Woo! It's fucking awesome. And yeah, being an atheist doesn't take anything away from that. And in fact, as other people have expressed, I uploaded a video, and also Freethinker beautifully adapted it. Oh man, like you know, Paco Bell's canon. That makes anything better, in my opinion. But this is just such a great marriage. So there's a link again. Like, to me, I'm just stating my opinion here, but the fact that I am an atheist, more or less, and this, you know, these concepts aren't mutually exclusive. Some people think they are, but I happen to lean more towards, like, I'm scientific in how I look at things, but that in turn leads to a deep understanding about, even if I don't understand the given mechanism for something, I can at least understand and appreciate how much I don't know. Like, I'm a physics major. You know, I want to major in physics and or astronomy. I want to be a scientist and or science teacher. So, but I understand there are plenty of topics that I don't know anything about. But you know, like Socrates said, the first part of wisdom is knowing that you don't know anything, and I think to really embrace the scientific method, and some people, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't go hand in hand, or at least complement being an atheist somehow. But yeah, that understanding, or at least the appreciation that I don't understand something, or at least can fathom how hard it would be to understand a given thing, that just amplifies the beauty and the sense of awe and wonder that I have just being a part of this whole thing. You know, like, I don't fucking know where the universe came from. Anyone who says they do is lying, but, you know, I'm having a fucking good time. I like to, you know, do what I can to understand it better, and I want to make sure that everyone else who is a conscious being like myself, I think, therefore I am, right? I want everyone to have just as good a time as I'm having. But yeah, I don't know why the fucking roller coaster runs. I just know it's a great ride, and you know, suffering sucks, and happiness doesn't. And I don't feel like I have to explain that. Such a ranty, rambly video, but that was kind of the point. Also, if you haven't already, I've started this blog thing, RabidApe.net. I want to do a mix between, you know, doing pure video things and doing pure blogging things, and really, I'm very, very, very interested in what the overlap is going to be. But I also like the idea of them developing separately. So I think, and especially with this being a drunk, rambly thing, I'm not going to make a blog entry for this. Like, as of right now, it's still new, so it's mostly filled up with just links to YouTube videos, you know. But I think it's the way I envision it is, as the future goes on, there's going to be, you know, some things that are just blog posts where I write about stuff because I've been told I'm a good writer, and I think that that's something I should work on and develop. And there's also this video thing, which apparently I'm good enough at. You know, like, fucking, you're still watching this after how many minutes? Too many. But yeah. So yeah, going back. Woo, this is the alcohol keeping me off topic. Got this person talking about, you know, criticizing me for saying something I haven't said, calling me narrow-minded to think that there can't be anything between following a religion and having no belief in anything spiritual or godly. And this almost seems like I really don't want it to be like a weakness. Like, it seems like just a reflex that I fall back on, but time and time again, I find myself, hey, Paisha, Sorry I'm not paying attention to you right now. Cat. But, what the fuck does spiritual mean? What the fuck does godly mean? That's so many of the frictions that we have. You know, like you left this comment, this person over here, bitching about something I never said, but please, you know, can someone give me a reasonable, coherent, transferable definition of what spiritual or godly means? Like, so many people throw the word around thinking that that's going to make an argument in and of itself, but it's one of these things like, you know, spiritual, God, liberal. These words are so flexible. Like, I want to say this is an original quote, more or less. I'm sure someone has said something similar, but time and time again, like, I gotta emphasize to people, I feel that if you are going to stretch a word to the point where it can mean anything, then you are communicating nothing when you use it. And I think the word, you know, God or godly and spiritual, this definitely falls in that category, to where it means so many things to so many different people. Like, I don't even fucking know what to say. Like, I haven't even said anything against being spiritual or godly, but this person thinks I have. And you know, when I say I'm an atheist, nothing about that entails a dogmatic, closed-minded assumption about, you know, like like, oh yeah, that's actually another thing, that apparently there's this idea of, like, you can be a philosophical naturalist, and that means you are of the position that the only things that exist are things that we can see and hear and touch and etc. I'm not that person, and I don't know who is spreading that around. Like, it's I almost think it's probably just another one of those simple misunderstandings that causes, you know, way more grief than it prevents. But it's not that the only things I believe in, like, I do not think that only things we can see and hear and touch and taste and smell exist, but I do think that, you know, like, employing the scientific method, that process of looking at and analyzing objectively things we can see and hear and feel and taste and touch, and or measurements, you know, which we also watch, like, there's a difference between saying that something doesn't exist and saying that you don't know what you're talking about. And that's the difference. I don't close off the possibility that these things exist, but when someone makes specific claim X, Y, or Z about weird, out there, hard to define thing A, B, or C, I don't have to know anything about that to stand back and say, I don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about. You might be right, you might be wrong, but you don't know. I don't know. Anyone who says they do is lying, and there is no way for us to definitively decide, you know, if X, Y, or Z is right or wrong. And so, like Pat Condell said it best. I think I'm ready to close now, but you know, like, I apply the word atheist to myself, but you could just as well call me a fundamentalist agnostic, because I don't know, you don't know, and anyone who says they do is a lying infidel pig. Yeah. RabidApe out. And Rant.